Well guys, it's time to build something which I'm pretty sure every single person who's ever played Minecraft has wanted to build at least once in their world, and that is a gigantic, dope looking castle. Now if everyone wants to build them, why do most people not? Well, one, they take a crazy amount of resources, two, probably a crazy amount of time, and I'm guessing they're hard to build. I don't know, haven't done it yet, but yeah, we're gonna give it a shot. So as you can see, I've gathered a pretty good amount of stone. Will it be enough? Probably not, whatever, we'll just cross that bridge later. But I want to move on to step 2, which is finding a good location. Now those of you who've been along on this hardcore journey, this whole time, probably know that there's a gigantic, like, snowy mountain next to my house. Now this place looks absolutely sweet because it's like in the clouds, there's mountain peaks everywhere. It just, to me, it looks like a perfect place for some sort of like winter castle type, thing. So I'm pretty sure we're gonna make it here in this whole area here. I mean, it looks like a great spot to me. Let's go ahead and make sure that the height limit building cap isn't going to be too low for us. And holy cow, it is not. It is so much higher than I thought it was going to be. I was thinking maybe because we're on a mountain we might be pretty close to the height build limit. Turns out we weren't. So if you look at a castle like this right off the bat, it does look kind of complicated, but if you break it down into basic shapes, I don't think it'll be all that bad to make a castle. I mean, this is really just like a rectangle and then a rectangle and then some cones, a cone there, a cone there, a cone there, a cylinder. It's just shapes. And not to brag, but I'm kind of like really good at shapes. I mean, check this out. This is just a gigantic square, and this is just a huge circle. A sphere, maybe, if you will, if you're trying to be better than the rest of us. And this is just a circle and another circle, and then this is just a big gigantic circle. So I think we might actually be able to do this. So I want to get the angle right, so if we put the castle in that corner, then I'll make the pathway up this side of the mountain so it'll end up right about here. The pathway is just going to be zigzagging its way up the side of the mountain. I kind of want to go for the type of sketchy pathway you would have to climb to get up to a crazy castle that you would get from some old person, like an old sage or something, if you were like the main character in a movie. And what castle is complete without a gigantic wall going around the outside of it? As you can see, we're just kind of following the outline of this valley that's here in this snow mountain, so thankfully I don't have to think too much about what I'm doing. I'm just following the natural guide. But that's when I started thinking, aren't castle walls like thicker than this usually? I feel like one block isn't enough, so I decided to go ahead and extend the wall by one block on each side to give it some width. This will also give us a little more room to design the top of the wall if we decide to do so. And not surprisingly, we did run out of blocks. And yeah, this became a very reoccurring theme throughout the whole process. That being said, we were able to finish the first draft, the rough draft of the wall. Honestly, I think it looks pretty cool. I think it's a good start. But it would look even cooler if we added a little design to the top of the wall, and after that, if we put lights lighting up the whole thing so you can see it during the nighttime. Now we need to actually build a platform where this castle is sitting on top of. And I know platforms are pretty basic, it's just like a rectangle, but I did want to highlight this gap between the wall and this other line that I built. That way when I fill it in, it just gives it that, that look, that, whatever. Now we don't want our castle looking like a pyramid, so I'm going to use a multitude of different shapes. Basically just circles and rectangles and like triangles. But I mean, it's going to look better than just rectangles, probably. So I put this circular pillar here on the right because I kind of have a bad habit of making all my builds like super symmetrical. So I'm hoping this will offset that habit at least just a little bit. But it wasn't too long before we ran out of stone again, so I went to this mountain and kind of mined out the inside of it. It honestly kind of reminds me of a volcano, which maybe we end up turning this into a volcano. Who knows? I then began working on the front gate, which is, as you can see, facing at an angle. This whole castle is built facing an angle, which in an all square world definitely makes things a little bit more difficult. After that, I added a little fence design and a pillar here on the left, but then I ran into a little bit of a problem. So to make enough room for the castle, we're gonna have to mine out all of the snowy mountain behind the castle up to the fence. I don't even want to know how long this is gonna take. Now that we have a lot more space, I'm going to fill the rest of the area in with just a bunch of massive but super basic looking buildings. Our goal is not to get into the details yet, but just to get like the kind of outline for the whole design that we're looking for. Again, we're facing the obstacle of a slant, so I opted to go with this like cove design for the top center of the castle. And then on this little circular roof that I put in, funny thing, I actually don't really like how it looks that much, so I'm going to end up working on that a bit more later. And then again, we're just adding more and more buildings and towers in the background. The farther back they are, the taller they should be. That way the things in front don't block the things behind them. Now that we've put all the basic buildings in there, you can see the castle is starting to take shape, and we can start to think about the details now. I want to do a blue accented castle, so I need to find a blue forest biome in the nether, like this one here, and mine out all the logs so I can turn them into planks and use the logs and planks in my build. Now that we have our wood, we can start designing the roofs to these towers, and as you can tell, I was struggling, especially at the beginning. I was not very good at designing these roofs. I got better at it the more I did it, obviously, but at the beginning I did have to take them down and put them back up a couple times just because they looked really funky. But that's kind of the funny thing about Minecraft. I've never really considered myself a builder in Minecraft, but what I've realized is that a lot of times, like very few times, things will be unsalvageable to the point where you just got to tear it down and start over because it looks that bad. But most of the time you'll be able to work on something and take a step back and be like, wow, that does not look good in the beginning, but then you just keep on trying new things with it and working at it and working at it until later it'll all come together in the end, and then you're like, wow, okay, I'm kind of proud of that. And yeah, at the beginning sometimes it really just does not look good, but I'm telling you, just keep on working at it and usually you can make it work. And I didn't really do anything too complicated here. As you can see, I'm just putting simple windows on all the big buildings and then kind of the same style of roof on all the towers and a very simple fountain design. And then of course we need our bridge leading straight to and from the castle. Nothing too complicated. It's like the same type of design as the wall in front of the castle. Also, I realized it wasn't centered with where I made the entrance, like where the stairs led up to, so I kind of had to redo that bit. And then afterwards I went back along the stair steps and put lights throughout the whole thing.